Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube. I'm here to do a reaction review to episode 86. If you hear some uh, noise in the background here or coming from my computer, I'm reacting to the episode as I rewatch it. So you may hear some muffled sounds. So here we go. So Vicky is still in the abandoned room, and she has seen the ghost of Bill Malloy. She saw the seaweed. Um, and we have David standing at the landing. He's coming down the steps now. David Collins, that is. I love how they shoot this little tracking shot here with David Collins, David Hennessy, and here's Aunt Elizabeth. He's like, me? No. You know where she is. And Elizabeth is somewhat grilling David about where Vicky is, and if he's seen her. How Elizabeth's like, I'm worried about Vicky, and Roger's like, oh, she's a big girl, Liz. She can look after herself. And David's like agreeing with him. Anytime Roger and David are agreeing on something, it can be good. Well, I like how they shoot the bracelet on Vicky's wrist as she's hitting the door. It's simplistic, it really is. You see the lightning, very good effects. You hear the sound. That's the thing too, even though you don't have necessarily location shots like them doing at literally sea view, you still get great atmosphere from the sets. And what really makes that great atmosphere is obviously it's in black and white. You have the sound effects of the lightning. And by the way, in the previous episode, when it opened up, I forgot to mention this in my last video. It was raining. You could hear the rain, the sound of the rain. So it was a great job by the effect department. Um, Elizabeth is saying she looked everywhere she could think. Maybe she's in Carolyn's room. Carolyn went out in night like this. Roger caught what Liz said. She wasn't outside. Elizabeth saying she noticed Vicky's purse in the room. She wouldn't go out without it. So this is Detective Liz here. I love Louis Edmonds here because he's given this look at David Hennessy's character, David Collins. Like, he's not just very suspicious of his son. He already sort of knows something has happened here. And it did not take him long to figure that out. Maybe the ghost took her. David. Um, but also, what builds that great atmosphere is the actors and actresses. Alexander does a really good job of being scared, of perpetrating the fear, if you will, of the room. And, she saw a ghost. And David says, now they'll never find Miss Victoria Winters. Roger. Roger, did I detect reluctance to discuss Carolyn in front of David? So Carolyn's out to have a good time at the Blue Whale. And you hear the ominous music. There you still see. Now you do hear the rain. And this is Burke Devlin's room. Or hotel room, I should say. And it's Burke and Carolyn in the hotel room. They're having a discussion about he was having a drink. Maybe Carolyn says, maybe I'll join you. He's like, maybe I see your identification card. It's such a little fun quirk there by, by Burt Devlin, Mitchell Ryan's character. I like how she takes her hair and makes sure it's nice, even though they're more than well entered the hotel room. I was in the middle. Burke, did you have a fight with your young man? She says, I don't want to talk about it. She goes from not talking about it to talking about it. My young man, much more fascinating subject. Your old man, me. I always feel old after around someone so young. I like that line. I like that line by Burke. Really, really good. Let's toast, he says. What should we drink to? Let's drink to us. To us. So they're having a toast to one another. Here's where you get a bit of the love triangle too. This is what we needed some music versus. By love triangle, I mean Joe, Burke, and Carolyn. Vicky, I would dare say, is not really entangled in this love triangle, though Carolyn has tried to infuse her in it in a certain way. Where if you know if Burke invites Vicky to dinner, Carolyn's hassling, oh, you're trying to steal my boyfriend. And she's like, I'm not trying to steal anything. I was just invited to dinner and I went. And she did. She wasn't trying to steal nothing from nobody. Who will catch? So Burke is complimenting Carolyn's look and posterior. You see a lot of heavy flirtation going on between the two characters. So the writers are doing a really good job of finally having Burke fully flirt back here, and Mitchell Ryan is doing a great job selling it. And now Burke's like, there's no so-called war between me and the Collins family. He doesn't want to talk about it. So, so the Collins family is still a touchy subject to Burke, and it's going to be. So Burke's like, we can talk about me and my past, your future. No, it comes up for talk about your future as they play the romantic music. Now we're back at Collinwood, and David's looking at his crystal ball. I like how he had the crystal ball sitting on the staircase there at the edge of the staircase. Where you going, David? Roger, I'm gonna go get something with a crystal ball in your hand. I was told to get ready for bed. He's in like his overcoat nightgown. He's in his pajamas, like overcoat and pajamas. Silly Tom. It's not silly. Really. Be lots of things. I like what the actors really do here too when they are perhaps may have been drinking. You'll hear often characters, and Roger did have a drink in this episode. When you see characters have a drink, sometimes whether it's one or two, and I do believe this is done on purpose, just to sort of, from a deception standpoint and from a realistic standpoint, they're somewhat slurring their words on purpose. You see Sam do it, Burke's done it, Roger's done it. So it's really well done by the actors and actresses in the show. He said that's where Miss Winters is in the crystal ball. Still, Let me see where Miss Winters is. I can't see anything. Roger, maybe you should ask yourself where Miss Winters is. So again, Roger was suspicious of David in the drawing room. He's still suspicious. He knows how rotten his son can be. I'll say that word. Really evil. I mean, David can be downright evil. I like Vicky's pacing, sits down on the bed here. She's just gonna lay back down like, I'm tired. You hear the creaking. Again, this is the effects team having a lot of fun. And Alexandra selling her ass off for David? It's not David. David, I heard you. It's not David. I know that you didn't mean to hurt me. There's nobody there. Now that's interesting. There's like a light on the wall, a small light, and it look. Maybe I'm seeing things. I don't think it looks like a face. And the lightning's hitting through the window. That's wicked looking. I've watched this episode before. I've never noticed that till now. So you always, like I said, you'll learn something in DS. Something new. Yeah, I do think, again, the effects team does a great job. Alexander did a great job of building that tension and terror because you can have all the effects you want. You can have that lightning, you can have the rain, and you can have a proper room, but it does nothing unless you have the actors who can sell for you with all your writing. And Alexander does a great job from going to, okay, I'm in a locked room to I'm in a locked room alone, and an abandoned locked room to what in a locked part of the really the West Wing is abandoned. So Vicky knows she's all by herself, and now she's after seeing a ghost. You see where she was hysterical a bit before. She's even she's even a bit more hysteric now that she's seen a ghost. She wants out of the room. She wants out of there. She is hearing things. She hears a creak. She thinks it's David, and there's nobody there. Again, great job. And I really love Louis Edmonds in this episode too. He's just eyeing David up, like, yeah, I know you did something, like because really what it's selling to is the conversation they've had in a prior episode, where Roger sort of suspects David is planning to do something to Vicky, and he says, just don't tell me, David. Just don't tell me. Um, because he doesn't want in on his little plan. He doesn't want to be a part of it in a sense, but it also allows him to save face when he doesn't know the exact plan, and he can be the one that finds Miss Winters. Oh, I found Miss Winters. I figured it out. I deducted from the conversation I had with David, and basically that's what he's gonna say in the next episode. The next episode. So Burke's. Now we're back in Burke's hotel room. You haven't lived till you see Rio. I haven't lived. I love how Carolyn touches his lips, like when he says "Dear Miss Stoddard," he goes Carolyn, and he kisses the back of her hand. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. He's taking, he's taking his shoes off. Oh, in the sock. He's explaining the last time he took off his shoes in front of a girl, he was embarrassed because he had holes in his socks. I dated Julie. I had a hole in my sock. I was in bed. It's a hole in my sock. Who cares? Nobody cares. It's a hole in my sock. Uh, Carolyn, have you ever been in love to Burke? Yes, and this is once. Is it such a pain to experience? Yes. So we're getting into the conversation of love. Not really, he says. He's and she looks behind. He's standing over her shoulder behind the couch, and she looks back at him. Great camera work and great job by Nancy Barrett and Mitchell Ryan. And Rogers, like, I wish we're back at Collinwood now. I wish I knew or what you really knew. Liz, where you guys, she knows where that key is too. Roger, maybe one of the widows put it there. One of David's pet ghosts, the widows. That's enough to. I know what this key opens. So the key opens the west wing. So we learned in this episode that there are duplicate keys, but they all have special tops that they can be recognized for what they're for. So David admits that it's the key. I found it. He said he found the key a long time ago. He could have. She's like, I try so hard to believe you. Why? 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 And Raw. Rock, Lucas Edmonds. I said I liked him in this episode. We're back at Burke's hotel room, but he says, David, look at your crystal ball. Again, he said, why? He goes, I want you to find out if I believe you. Because Aunt Elizabeth believed him about finding the key. Yeah. Burke's telling this story. So Burke talks about making a pass at this young woman. He knows it would be misconstrued. He's not talking about Carolyn. Or is he? No, he's not. He said about being entranced by a fair maiden. And he's touching the top of her hair. Beautiful blonde young girl. Did she show you her identity card too? Unfortunately, there was a time it wasn't necessary. Better tear herself away from me and swim home. She was a smart girl. It's been a charming evening. So Carolyn, again, it's a cue to leave, right? You forgot your umbrella. Carolyn's putting on a raincoat. So Carolyn has a wonderful evening, most wonderful evening she's ever had in her life. We have a few more. So now Burke's a little more engaged with Carolyn here in this episode of in a sense of dating her in a way. She says, but besides, I'm a very good swimmer. There's a receipt coming to this line. Burke kisses her on the lips. So you have Burke kissing Carolyn. This won't be the only woman he kisses. And Carolyn walks out the door. Here's Burke's line. It's so good. He smiles. He's stuttered. You better be a good swimmer. And pretty soon you're going to find yourself in a whirlpool with nowhere to go but down. Burke has some bad intentions. And here's, speaking of intentions, here's Roger with a glass of brandy. It's tea. To Miss Victoria Winters, no matter where you are. And he's toasting Vicky. So we see some toast in this episode, too, to be exact. Again, there's not every. Yes, are there filler within the episodes themselves? I love that. Yep, Vicky throws a glass object at the window. She's very frustrated. She's mad now. She's no longer scared. She's mad. She's looking out the keyhole. Vicky's got ideas. She's putting the paper underneath the door. She's going to try to escape. And she pokes the key out. And the key's on the paper. Can she do it? Roger lets her out, so. And what do we got? Paper's coming through. The key's getting caught on that little handle that Liz talked about. Those tops. That's what it's getting caught on. It's not coming through. She doesn't get herself out of this. And she's hitting against the door like, son of a... And she's hanging her head, crying. Damn it! Damn it! And it's the end of the episode. What an episode it was. Again, just great job atmosphere-wise from the effects department, and just an overall great acting job. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next episode.